Hi, it's Marieta. Thanks a lot for tuning in. In this video, I want to give you guys 3 tips. What do you need to know before you actually apply for E2 investor visa in 2022? Let's do it. Coming up. All right, if you're new here, welcome. Make sure to subscribe. And let's talk about today's topic, how you can get E2 visa. And these are going to be actually my 3 tips that I have for you. And for those who don't know me, I am immigration attorney. Specifically, I focus on E2 investor visas as well as business coaching, how you can grow your profitable business. And I'm also former E2 visa investor and immigrant. So these 3 tips that I want to share with you today is really coming from someone who's done that, been there, and things that I learned over the last 10 years as I've been helping and obviously practicing law and giving different business advices to people who are in similar situation. In other words, E2 visa investors. So the tip number 1 that I want to give you is that understand that when you want to apply for E2 visa, you need to start actual business that is profitable and not marginal. So this means that I highly recommend you start early, you plan early, and you start a strategy that you have before you even invest, right? Because the investment part is essential, but every time I talk to people and I give consultations, it's the same story over and over again. They think that they need to invest, which of course they do need to invest in order to be considered under E2 visa, but they forget that they actually need to create a business that is real and that is not marginal, right? And if you want to learn more about the requirements about E2 visa, I do have a free training below this video. Now, for you to start this business that is active and real, not marginal, you can start a business from your country even though you are not present in the US, right? So for example, if you're starting online business, for example, maybe digital agency, you can incorporate, you can start LLC in US, and then you can actually start sending the funds, wiring the funds that are part of the E2 visa requirement. But at the same time, make sure to have strategy in place, business strategy in place, so you are able to actually create a business that is profitable before you even apply. That being said, I highly suggest that you start actually, making money, making profit at least year before or even 6 months before, because it takes time to validate your idea, especially if it's startup, if it's brand new business. Number 2, produce profit, right? Because if you actually have the money, you have the funds, right? You can wire them and then you apply for E2 visa. Still, you need to actually create business that is profitable. So because of that, it might take a couple of months. In some cases, it might take a year because starting a business takes time, okay? That's number 1. Tip number 2 is understand that once you actually wire your money, the investment, the E2 visa investment, right, which is one of the main requirements, which needs to be substantial amount of money, depending on a business model and location where you reside or plan to reside in the US, you have to invest your funds. So this is something also people are not aware of. So investing means that you have to actually show that these particular funds are at risk. Okay, so if you're starting a business, brand new company, I usually work with people who start brand new businesses and I help them actually establish these companies. So that's what I do as a business coach on top of being an attorney. Once you actually start this business and you bring the money to the US account, you have to actually show not only that the business is making money and is profitable, but you actually invested these funds and therefore the funds are at risk. Because you as an investor, you need to bear the risk of investment and you need to show that you are at risk with this particular investment and these funds are committed. In other words, irrevocably committed. So for example, let's go back to that example I gave you, marketing agency, digital agency. You can spend the money, invest in other words, appropriately where it needs to go so you can actually develop this business and the business becomes profitable, right? So that being said, maybe you need to establish a website, sales funnel, marketing, you start actually investing in your marketing. You hire a team of people, even though that is not a requirement. These are examples of how you're going to invest your funds. And keep in mind that I don't recommend just waste money, you know what I mean? For sake of getting it too. Which goes to tip number 3, which should be actually tip number 1, is to get crystal clear on what kind of business you want to start and why you want to start this business. Because I get this question most of the time. People ask me, what kind of business should I start? What do you think? And I'm like, what do you think? Based on your research, based on your understanding of business, based on your skills, based on your investment, what kind of business do you want to start? And you need to understand that. Why you want to start a business, where you want to start a business, and also validate the idea, right? The idea of validation is so important. Because what do I mean by that here? Maybe you have a great idea, maybe you have money, maybe your parents gave you the loan, right? And you want to start this business, but you haven't validated the idea, you're going to burn cash, you're going to waste money. And for that, I do have actually coaching program where I coach people how they can start 6-figure companies in 12 to 18 months. So again, link to that webinar training is going to be below this video. Keep that in mind. That is so important to validate the idea, start the actual business before you even invest. And once you do that, then you invest and invest wisely. So in other words, invest where you need to put the money so the business is actually making more money and is profitable, and then you apply. So, makes sense? Now, if you want to learn more how you can actually get your E2 visa, start this business that is profitable, purpose-driven, again, below you're going to find resources, how you can do that. Now, another frequently asked question people always ask me is how can I go from from E2 to a green card? And for that, I'm going to actually give you this, somewhere here on the screen, you're going to see this video. In that video, I break down how you do that. That's exactly how I did it, right? I went from E2 investor to green card via entrepreneurship. So highly recommend that you watch that video, especially if the green card permanent residency is your long-term plan, right? And if you need to discuss more, you can book a one-on-one call with me. The link is also going to be below. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.